Welcome to Easy Sleep, where calm begins and your journey to restful sleep starts now. Before the story starts, we're going to complete a quick exercise. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly. Do it again. Inhale and release. Now bring to mind 3 things you're grateful for right now. With each breath, feel that gratitude settle deeper in your chest. You are safe. You are supported. You are enough. Now shift your focus to something you want to create. A goal, a lifestyle, a feeling. Pick one thing. Be specific. Say it clearly in your mind or whisper it. I am calling in. I am ready to receive it. Repeat it to yourself, with conviction, with belief. Feel the truth of it as if it's already yours. Because if you can imagine it, you can move toward it. Now picture yourself already living it. Where are you? What do you see around you? Who's with you? What sounds, smells, colours? See the version of you who already has this life. How do you walk? Speak? Wake up in the morning. Breathe into that image. Let it become more vivid, more real. You are not chasing this. You're aligning with it, matching its frequency. You are stepping into that version of yourself now. Bring your attention back to your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Feel your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Keep the vision. Keep the gratitude. Now repeat after me. I'm going to have the best night's sleep ever. My body's relaxed and ready for the deepest sleep. I'm going to wake up so refreshed.
This is $12 and a dented crown. A story about leveling up by easy sleep. The fluorescent lights inside the station hummed like dying bees. Jamal wiped down the coffee counter for the 4th time, even though no one had touched it in hours. The digital clock above the soda machine clicked from 5:59 a.m. to 6, and he was already untying his apron. Shift change, he muttered, tossing the apron behind the counter. Leon, the day guy, shuffled in, sunglasses already on like he was headed to the beach instead of standing under bulletproof glass for 8 hours. Yo, place blow up overnight? No more than usual. Leon grunted and slid into the stool behind the lotto terminal. Jamal walked past him without another word, ducking under the half-broken motion sensor that sparked when it felt like it. The cold air outside slapped him as he stepped into the parking lot. His breath made ghosts in the dawn light. Jamal's car sat in the far corner of the lot, nose pointed at a dumpster, windows fogged. A faded blanket was stretched across the back seats. He unlocked it, dropped his backpack in the passenger side, then paused to count his pay. 12 wrinkled dollars in tips, mostly loose change from drunk customers. No check yet. Maybe Friday. He stood there, the cold pressing into his fingers, thinking for a moment that maybe he'd just sit in the car and knock out until noon. But then he glanced toward the back of the building. A sliver of the rusted basketball hoop peeked above the dumpsters. bent slightly forward like it was bowing. Jamal sighed, pulled open the trunk, and grabbed his shoes. The pavement behind the station was more crater than court, half asphalt, half gravel, all abuse. A faded white arc still clung to the ground, marking the three-point line like a scar no one cared to heal. The hoop was barely regulation height, the net long gone, the backboard more rust than metal. Jamal dropped his hoodie on a busted milk crate and slipped on his shoes. No warm-up, no stretching. Just picked up the ball from where he'd left it last night and spun it in his palms. It was half flat. He dribbled anyway. The first shot clanged off the side of the rim so hard it flew sideways into a trash pile. He chased it down, boots crunching glass. Second shot, short. Third, off the top of the backboard. He paused after that one, leaning forward, hands on his knees. His legs didn't move the way they used to. Not stiff, slow. The ball rolled back toward him like it felt sorry. Jamal picked it up again, lined his shoulders, bent his knees, exhaled, shot, swish, clean. He didn't smile, but something behind his eyes flickered. For the next 20 minutes, he didn't think. He just shot, caught, moved, shot again. Even when his breath started to burn and his shirt stuck to his back, he didn't stop. The world shrank to the arc. The rim, the feel of the ball leaving his fingers. Until a small voice cut through the rhythm like a whistle. You used to be better. Jamal froze, the ball still cradled in his hands. He turned. There she was, tiny legs crossed, sitting on the curb like it was courtside seating at Madison Square Garden. Pink hoodie, 2 sizes too big. Hair in wild puffs. Sipping a juice box like she'd been there the whole time. Jamal squinted. You lost or something? She shook her head. Nope. You waiting for someone? She pointed at him with her straw. I'm watching you. He blinked. Me? Uh-huh. Sip. You used to be better. That pulled a short laugh from him, the kind you let out when someone punches your pride in just the right spot. Oh, yeah? You know me or something? She shrugged. Kinda. You're King Jam. He stared at her. Say what now? She stood up, digging into her little backpack. It was shaped like a cat and had one strap half ripped. She pulled something out, a crumpled, grease-stained Burger King crown, and marched over like she was knighting him. Here, you drop this. He didn't take it at first, just stared at the thing. A torn paper circle with faded fake jewels and a smudge of ketchup on the inside fold. You serious? She nodded, deadly solemn. You're just in disguise right now. That's why nobody recognizes you. Jamal shook his head, smiling in spite of himself. Girl, you don't even know me. I do, she said confidently. I've seen you play before. He stared down at the crown again. Take it, she said. It'll help you remember. She didn't wait for permission, just pressed the crown into his chest and let go. Jamal caught it instinctively. It was lighter than it looked. Paper always is until it carries something bigger than itself. He held it up between them. This thing smells like fries and disappointment. Zara giggled. That's how you know it's real, he snorted. What are you, some kind of motivational speaker? I'm a queen, she said simply, like it wasn't up for debate. He nodded slowly. I see. And what kingdom you rule over, exactly? She pointed around the parking lot like she was introducing royalty. This is my land. Gas station, alley, corner store, and the donut dumpster. Best muffins in the city, if you don't mind bees. That made Jamal laugh again, more openly this time. A real one. You always this strange? Only when I'm awake. She sipped her juice, then looked up at him, serious now. You don't have to be sad forever, you know. The smile fell off his face like a coin. She shrugged, turned, and started walking away. Keep the crown, she called over her shoulder. You're gonna need it. Jamal watched her go, the crown still dangling from his fingers. The silence came back. The rim, the morning wind, the weight of breath. He looked down at the crumpled paper. Something about it wouldn't let him toss it. He folded it gently this time and slid it into the side pocket of his gym bag. The sun was bleeding and slow behind the alley wall, turning the cracked pavement gold around the edges. Jamal stood in the middle of it all, the back of the gas station at his left, a cold rim above him, and a paper crown in his hand like it meant something. He turned it over once. The grease stains looked like bruises. He held it above the open trash can, next to the milk crate he used as a bench. It would have been easy. Just drop it in. Let it go. Forget the girl, the crown, the weirdness of it all. Go back to what he knew, shifts, car naps, shots in silence. But his hand didn't move. He glanced down at his gym bag, unzipped it just enough, and slid the crown inside like it might burn him. He stood still for a moment after that, the air shifting a little. The game behind him was over, but something in his chest still thumped. Jamal picked up his hoodie, draped it over one shoulder, and walked toward his car, scuffing gravel with each step. He didn't look back at the hoop, but he didn't forget it either. Not this time. The rec center still smelled like sweat and old plastic. Same scuffed linoleum floors, same crooked ceiling fan above the front desk that turned too slow to do anything. The paint on the walls had peeled in the corners, like even the building was tired of being here. Jamal hadn't stepped inside in almost 4 years. He kept his hood up as he crossed the lobby, hoping the kid behind the desk wouldn't look twice. They didn't. Just waved him toward the courts and went back to a tick-tock that echoed through the cracked screen of their phone. The doors to the gym creaked like they remembered him. 3 kids were shooting around on one side, middle schoolers by the look of it. The other side was empty, polished floor gleaming in the early morning light that bled through the high windows. And on the far bench, like she had never left, sat Miss Eloise Carter, clipboard in her lap, thick glasses sliding down her nose, and a whistle that hung around her neck like a warning label. She looked up, didn't smile. "Look what the cat pissed out." Jamal snorted. "Nice to see you, too." "You look like hell," she added, folding her arms. "And not even the kind where something fun happened first." "I've been working nights." "That ain't work. That's waiting to die slow." Jamal walked closer. His hand slid into his hoodie pocket like he needed something to hold. "I'm just checking in," he said. Miss Carter raised an eyebrow. Checking in like you owe me a phone call? Or checking in like you finally ready to stop pretending you're dead? He didn't answer that one. She sighed, dropped the clipboard on the bench beside her. We got a city tournament coming up. 3-on-3, outdoor. Winner gets $1,000. And maybe a visit from a scout or two, if they're not too drunk to care. Jamal's eyebrows lifted. Don't look so shocked. It's open registration. You just have to prove you can still move. Who's coaching? I am. He looked at the floor, then at the court, then back at her. I don't know if I'm... Spare me, she said, standing up. You either want it or you don't. The door's here. I ain't keeping it open forever. We run drills Friday night. You show or you don't. She started walking past him, then paused just long enough to drop one more line. And for the record, you were the best guard I ever coached. Still think about that crossover you dropped in the city finals. Shame you quit before it meant something. She disappeared through the gym doors. Jamal stood there a while, long after the ball stopped bouncing on the other side of the court. Outside, the sky was the color of wet pavement. He didn't go straight back to the gas station. Instead, he walked to the park where Bones used to hang out. The court there was full of smoke and shouting, shirtless games, cash bets, broken rules. The kind of place where dreams didn't go to die, just to drown quietly. Bones was there. Still slim, still smooth, gold tooth, flashing in the overcast light. He saw Jamal before Jamal could even wave. King Jam, he said, arms spread. Back from the grave. Jamal smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Still running this mess, huh? Bones slapped his chest. What else I'm gonna do? Be respectable? He gestured toward the court. Got a little 2-on-2 tonight. Cash game. Easy money if you want in. I'm thinking about doing the rec tourney, Jamal said. Bones leaned back and laughed. With the choir kids and rent-a-ref whistles. There might be scouts. There might be unicorns, too, Bones shot back. Look, man, you want to sweat and hustle for a maybe? Or get paid now? Folks still remember your name. You just got to remind them who owns the floor. Jamal didn't answer. Bones stepped closer, dropped his voice. You want help getting ready for that tourney? Cool. I'll train you myself. But understand, either way, you owe somebody. Might as well make it worth the debt. He slapped Jamal's shoulder and walked off, already shouting at the next game to start. Jamal stood there, the sound of sneakers on asphalt in one ear, Miss Carter's voice in the other, and somewhere, maybe deeper, Zara's tiny declaration echoing from yesterday. You're just in disguise right now. The next morning, Jamal was back behind the gas station. No spectators this time. No Zara on the curb. Just him, his hoodie soaked through with sweat, and the echo of rubber hitting cracked pavement. The court looked worse in daylight. Weed-choked edges, a milk crate overturned near the baseline like someone had used it as a stool, then given up. He was moving, though. Not well, not fast. But he was moving. His legs burned after 20 minutes. The ball kept slipping from his hands. His lungs felt smaller than he remembered them being, but he stayed in motion. Jamal had never been flashy. He wasn't a dunker, wasn't a trash talker, but he'd always seen angles other players didn't. Passing lanes, gaps in a double team, the rhythm of a defense right before it broke. Now those instincts stirred beneath the rust. He missed 12 free throws in a row, hit 3, missed again, then 5 straight. Progress barely. As the sun climbed higher, his shadow stretched long and thin behind him. He stopped to breathe, hands on his knees, watching sweat drip onto the asphalt, like it could soak through to something deeper. From somewhere close, a voice rang out. "You're too stiff in the knees." He turned. Zara. She was sitting on the hood of his car like it belonged to her, a popsicle in one hand, her paper crown in the other. It was bent in the middle, taped along the edges with cartoon Band-Aids. "You been spying on me again?" he asked, wiping his face. "I live right there," she said, pointing toward the run-down apartment complex across the street. "Not my fault you make all that noise with your bricks." He laughed, shook his head. "You got jokes. I got ears." She hopped off the hood and walked over, digging into her backpack. This time she handed him a crayon drawing, him, wearing the crown, dunking a ball over a monster with glowing red eyes. In the corner she'd written, "King Jam Don't Miss." "You got a lot of confidence in me for someone who saw me blow 20 shots. "You just rusty," she said. "Even kings get dusty sometimes." He looked down at the drawing. The lines were wild and uneven. He tucked it carefully into the side pocket of his gym bag with the crown. "You gonna play in that tournament?" Jamal looked at her, surprised. "How you even know about that?" "Miss Carter's my grandma," she said casually, like it wasn't a bomb. Jamal stared. "You serious?" "She makes me clean the bleachers sometimes, but she told me you might be coming back. She said you used to be a beast, back before your brain broke." Jamal winced. "She say that exactly?" Zara shrugged. "Basically." He chuckled. "She still don't sugarcoat nothing, huh?" "She says sugar makes you soft." Jamal nodded, eyes drifting back to the rim. "She's right." That night, he showed up to the rec center. The gym lights buzzed overhead. 5 other guys were already warming up, young, fast, loud. They didn't notice him walk in. Miss Carter did. She raised her eyebrows but said nothing, just pointed at the court. He joined the next scrimmage, heart pounding. The first few plays were awkward. He slipped on a cut, threw a pass too hard, clanked an open 3. The others started whispering. "That old Jamal? Nah? Washed?" But then it happened. A screen came late, and Jamal saw it a split second before anyone else. He cut behind the defender, called low, and caught the dish for an easy layup. Next play, he intercepted a lazy pass, took it coast to coast, and finished with a smooth reverse off the glass. By the third game, he was directing traffic, finding open shooters, setting pace. Not perfect, but present. After the scrimmage, Miss Carter pulled him aside. "You got 2 weeks. Tourney's on Saturday after next. You keep showing up, I'll put you on a team." Jamal nodded, heart still racing. She studied him for a moment longer, then added, "And you better tell that niece of mine to stop drawing monsters all over my whiteboards." Outside, Bones was waiting, leaning against the fence with the smoke hanging from his lips, and a look in his eyes like he already knew something. "You look good in there," he said, "but you ain't gonna win." "Didn't say I would." Bones took a long drag. "You know what pays better than winning?" Jamal didn't answer. "Not winning. I got a game coming up. Big one. Lot of eyes. I need a guard who can make it look real. You throw it late, nice and quiet. We both walk out richer." Jamal stared at him. "You asking me to tank a rec game?" "I'm asking you to stop pretending you're going to be discovered on a middle school court in the middle of nowhere." Jamal looked past him toward the cracked sidewalk that led to the lot. Zara had drawn him dunking over monsters. He wasn't sure which one Bones was. "You think about it," Bones said, flicking his smoke and walking off into the dark. "King Jam's gotta eat, too." Tournament day cracked open hot and mean, sun already punching through the haze by 10 a.m. The city court had been swept and chalked for show. Fresh white lines, banners taped to fences, a cheap speaker rig blasting Kendrick through the chain-link crowd. Teams warmed up in matching T-shirts like it was the finals. Grown men stretched like old warriors. Kids in ice cream-stained clothes clung to the sidelines, watching everything like it was magic. Jamal laced up in silence. His team wasn't much. Two guys from the rec league named Dev and Big Marcus, both younger, both faster. But they'd played together all week and started learning each other's moves. Dev was slick, slippery on the drive. Marcus, all elbows and rebounds. Jamal? He filled the in-between, the rhythm, the glue. They won their first game easy. The second, not so much. By the third, Jamal's lungs were singing, his knees complaining, and the heat had turned his hoodie into a sponge. But he was grinning. Not big, not wide, but real. Something was moving in him that hadn't moved in years. Then he saw Zara. She stood at the edge of the court, hands on the chain-link fence like a tiny coach, wearing her tattered Burger King crown. It leaned to the left, held together by new tape. She shouted, "Let's go, King Jam!" loud enough to draw a few laughs. He nodded at her. And then he saw Bones, leaning on the far end of the fence, arms folded, chewing a toothpick. He gave Jamal a slow thumbs up, like the deal was already made. The final game was tight, 1 point down. Ball in Jamal's hands. Shot clock off. Dev was open on the wing. Marcus posted, calling for it. Jamal dribbled up slow, analyzing the court like a puzzle he used to know by heart. Time moved strange. He looked to the crowd. Zara had both hands in the air like she was casting a spell. Bones raised his eyebrows, tilted his chin. Jamal hesitated. His mind screamed, "Easy money. It's just a stupid tournament. You lose, nobody remembers. You win, nothing changes." But something else moved. Lower. Deeper. A different voice. "You make this pass. You finish this play. Not because someone's watching, but because you can. Because you remember who you are." He drove left, cut behind a screen, saw Marcus flash baseline, and fired a no-look pass straight into his hands. Marcus went up hard, fouled. The whistle blew. 2 shots. Marcus missed the first, made the second. Tie game, clock expired. Overtime. But no one cared who won that last minute. What stuck was the crowd, how they leaned forward, how they watched Jamal walk back to the bench like maybe he was worth watching again. They lost in overtime, barely. By 2, no trophy, no prize money. But afterward, as he unlaced his sneakers and watched the sky go gold, a man in a red jacket approached him. Clean cut, college logo on his sleeve. "You're Jamal Rivers." He nodded cautiously. "I coach at Edison Tech. We got late tryouts next month. My assistant saw you play. You got tape?" Jamal blinked. "No, sir." "Make some. Show up. We'll talk." The man handed him a card. Just like that, he was gone. Jamal sat still a long time, card in hand, sneakers loose. The crown was tucked in his bag, right next to Zara's drawing. He didn't smile, but his hands stopped shaking. It was late. The city had quieted down to its usual hum of sirens and tired wind. Behind the gas station, the cracked court glowed under one flickering security light. The backboard looked worse than ever, bent like a question mark. But it didn't matter. Jamal was there anyway. Zara was too. She stood at the free throw line in mismatched socks, crown askew, tongue poking out in concentration. She bounced the ball once, hard, too high, and watched it roll sideways into a puddle. Jamal chuckled. "Try again." She wiped her hands dramatically on her hoodie, then sat up like she'd seen him do. "Bend your knees, elbow in." She shot. Brick. Try again." Another bounce, another shot. This one hit backboard. She looked at him. "That count?" "We'll say it's an assist." He took the ball and stepped back, just behind the arc. Rolled his shoulders. "You gonna wear that thing forever?" she asked, pointing at his head. Jamal smiled. The Burger King crown was perched on his curls, taped and bent, still barely holding together. "I might," he said. "Feels right tonight." She grinned. "You look like a real king now." He paused, nodded, then raised the ball. Shot. It spun perfect, swished straight through the rusted rim. The sound was sharp, clean, like something unlocking. They stood there in the silence afterward, listening to nothing, to the night, to the space after a win that wasn't about scoreboards. Jamal didn't think about the scout, or Bones, or his brother, or how far he had to go still. He thought about right now, about the weight of a paper crown on his head, and how it didn't feel heavy anymore.